And right now it's time for that time when we have our special guest. Tonight's special guest is Simon Gomez, one of the team behind Coast 105.4, the successful baby boomer radio station. Simon tells us that the station is coming up to its 7th birthday. He tells us about his recent visit to see Gordon Lightfoot and about his new CD called Maybe Elsewhere. We welcome Simon Gomez as our special guest on The Beat Goes On. Simon Gomez, welcome.
Gerard Smith, how are you?
Welcome.
It's been a long time.
Yes, it has.
In fact, I thought you were just a rumour.
Simon, you've got a great history in New Zealand, haven't you? I mean, you're actually born in Canterbury. You are a baby boomer, but you lived a lot of your life, the first formative years, on Stewart Island. I don't think I've met that many people.
Well, yeah, there's not that many people come from Stewart Island. There is, in fact, population's about 400, 450 now.
Yeah.
It's changed a lot since I was brought up there. Economies and things change the way people live, but it's a beautiful little place, and I go home there a lot. I love to get back there.
Must have been great. What are some of your most fond memories of Stewart Island?
I have 4 siblings who are all older than me, so I was basically brought up as an only child with older parents, and my father bought a fishing boat and he fished. He taught me to sail. I built a boat. Well, he built a boat and I built it with him and sailed in that in a yacht, and hunting and tramping. And I had 40 acres of bush to play in as a kid. So my imagination just ran wild.
Tell me, the name Gomez, that's Portuguese, isn't it?
Well, it is. It's my ancestors from the Portuguese side of the family actually came from the Cape Verde Islands, and they came to New Zealand. Well, he came to New Zealand, Manuel Gomez, in early 1800s, and as a whaler and a sealer. An interesting story with that is that the Portuguese pronunciation of Gomez is Gomes, and it was anglicised by the time my grandfather came along to Gooms.
To Gooms?
To Gooms, yes. And I, being a foolish young man in the 1970s, decided when I entered the entertainment business for the first time back then, I changed my name to Gomez, so I'm actually now a Portuguese Maori with a Spanish name. I've got the wrong spelling on my name, but I changed it to that, so it's my name.
Well, there's the history. Now, you've always loved music, Simon.
Yeah.
You've loved music, haven't you? Yeah. I mean, you work in the music industry in the sense that you're with Coast, and you also produce wonderful CDs, wonderful CDs. But more on these in just a moment, because stay tuned, everybody. We're going to give away some of these wonderful CDs. But first of all, now your occupation, of course, is you're with Coast Radio.
Yes.
And that, for the baby boomers, us baby boomers.
Yeah, me too. I'm one too.
Yeah. What a wonderful station, and you're now 7 years old.
Yeah. And
they said there was no market for baby boomers, didn't they?
Well, yeah. It's I was blessed. I've had a very lucky life, and I was blessed that in 2003 I was working in the radio industry, and the general manager of the radio network in Auckland approached me to come and join a team that was building a new station for baby boomers. So I got in there on the ground floor, and my background in radio has always been in sales, so I ended up becoming the sales manager of the station, and I work on the business side of it. The baby boomers are in a lot of ways the backbone of the country. They have a lot of disposable income. People think of them as old people, but you and I don't think of ourselves as old people. I mean, I am 25, and I'm sure that you're not a day over 26. I know you must be slightly older than but the age, the time of years doesn't change with us. And we may be viewed as an older generation, but we're a very active older generation. We're the first generation that never had to go to war. We were never conscripted into armies to go to war. No. We came around after the Second World War. We invented a lot of the things that people take for granted these days. The television was perfected. Computers, there was no computers when the baby boomers came along. And it's a lot of the things that we live with on a day-to-day basis now came out of the baby boomer generation, who were born between 1946 and 1964.
That's right. Wow. Wonderful advertising agencies say things like baby boomers don't buy anything. And they're always putting us down.
Yes. I think that the thing there is a lot of the people who do the research and the media buying and some advertising agencies are beautiful people who are well under the age of 30. And when you're under the age of 30, you don't think about older people. Yeah. You and I didn't.
Yeah.
When you were, you and Shade had the rumour, and I was cruising around playing in pubs with bands. We didn't want to have anything to do with people our age, and I don't think that that's changed. Yeah. It's just unfortunate that the power of influencing people is sometimes in that area.
Now, Coast, the philosophy was, I mean, it's just one great song after another. Yeah. Timeless music from timeless artists, and you stick rigidly to that, don't you? You make sure that it's a well-defined playlist.
Play music that just wasn't being played by anybody else. The thing that we threw out the window right at the start was we made no attempt to be cool. And
a great policy.
And in doing that, we suddenly found that maybe we were a little cool. The other thing that we did with Coast right from the start was we only ever played 2 commercials in a row.
Yeah.
And we only, that's through the music sweeps, and we only also only have 5 minutes of advertising an hour. So there's not a lot of advertising on Coast, which is something that research told us baby boomers like. The older generations, you can't scream and yell at us, we're not going to react. But if you present products in the right way, we're going to buy them.
For us in Auckland, of course, it's 105.4, but for the rest of the country, you know how to get hold of Coast. It's the...
We're on. I came into your studio today, and there you've got us up on the net. So that's the best way to get us. Just www.thecoast.net.nz.
Great. Now, you've just got back from the States. Part of Coast, and of course part of your own music career, so tell us about your trip to the States. What was that all about?
Well, for all of my music career, and ever since I was a teenager, I'd followed the career of Gordon Lightfoot. Bob Dylan rates him as the best songwriter in the world, which I think is pretty interesting coming from Bob Dylan. I'd always wanted to see him, so I got on the net and I found there was a concert in Virginia, and a place called the Wolf Trap, which is a well-known venue there just outside Washington. And Gordon, having been someone that I'd followed all my life, I decided I'd be cheeky, so I phoned him. I managed to track his phone number down. I phoned him up and didn't actually get to speak to him, but got to speak to his personal assistant, and she arranged for myself and my wife Lindy to have guest passes at the concert. So we got to spend some time with Gordon after the concert and talk about the songs of his that I've sung, the songs of his that I've put on the latest album I've done, and have a little time to get to know him. And he's a wonderful man. But he's an older man now.
How old would Gordon Lightfoot be now?
He's 72 this year.
72.
Yeah.
So you've put together some great songs. You've used Malcolm. Well, here it is now. It's called Maybe Elsewhere. Well, what we're going to do right now for all our baby boomer audience is we're going to play just 30 or 40 seconds to give you an idea of the album, and then we'll come back to see.
It's no plan, it's not skill, it's not Jews, it's not karma, it's not even the stars or the moon or the sea. Everyone's gotta be somewhere. Wherever we go, there we are and there we'll be. We'll be here, we'll be there, or maybe elsewhere. It don't really matter if you're right there with me. Don't answer the questions.
If anybody would like to purchase this album, if we didn't have it, if you like that, where could you purchase it?
Well, I'd like to say in all good record stores, but at this point I'll say you can buy it in several record stores in New Zealand. Real Groovy Records right throughout the country is one of them. You can also buy it from my website.
Well, let's give the website a plug, a big plug for the website. So what is it, Simon?
which they all have in front of them, so it's just simongomezmusic.com.
Simon Gomez, thank you for coming in today, having a chat about Coast Radio, the Baby Boomers, and your wonderful new album.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
It's
Simon.
a pleasure being here.